Nigel Farage gave a strong speech that surprised the whole country, criticising Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Speaking seriously, he warned that if certain issues aren't solved soon, they could affect the future of the UK. Now people are wondering if the country is ready for what might happen next.
So who is crossing the English Channel? Who's actually coming? You see, we obsess with the numbers, and yeah, sure, 973 crossed last Sunday, 370 crossed the day before that, and they're being put up in hotels and private rented accommodation and social housing absolutely everywhere. And people are furious about the sheer numbers coming, furious that now over 1% of the British population that we know of are illegal immigrants. What we never talk about is who is actually coming. Now, I've said many times over the years, they are young males of fighting age coming into our country about whom we know very little. Well, here's a case of someone who we know a lot about. I want you to watch this film and think to yourself, is this the kind of person we want to come and live in our country? Is this the kind of person you would like to move in next to you? The guy's name is Madapasa. He's been living in Stockholm. He clearly wants to be a big star on TikTok, on social media. He wants to become an influencer, and perhaps he thinks his chances are better coming to the United Kingdom and doing it here. Let's start off with a clip of him in Stockholm. So here he is, surrounded by young women, boastful, we would probably think generally making a bit of a fool of himself. As to how old those females are around him, I wouldn't really like to speculate. But before you know it, Madapasa is there with a group of young men, and guess where they are? They are travelling. They are on their way from Stockholm through Northern Europe, and at the minute they're passing through Germany, and you can tell from the noise that's going on, they are in a highly excitable state. No prizes for guessing where they're headed to. So they're camping en route, they've got their fire going, their tent up, they're making a series of exceptionally aggressive images. You might notice on his face a tattoo that looks like a Kalashnikov. I would suggest to you that's a pretty aggressive symbol, not the kind of tattoo that most people get. Now you'll notice that the flag at the top of this social media clip that he's posted has France, where he is now, and there's a Union Jack. That tells you where he wants to get to. So they're in a camp in northern France, partying like crazy, in very high spirits. And basically this is going out on social media. He's telling the world he's about to attempt an illegal crossing of the English Channel, and it's party time, because he knows nothing can happen to him. If he gets to Britain, he won't be deported, and even if he gets stopped in France, he'll try again. I'm not a great linguist, but this is perfectly clear. Madapasa is fleeing to the UK, coming to a home near you very soon. Now, here's Madapasa and the gang. They're on the beaches, they're in the sand dunes in northern France. This one has gone wrong. For the over 500 million quid that we paid the French to stop the boats, they do actually stop some of the boats. And in this particular case, they have been stopped, and he won't be crossing today. And he's not happy about it, because it's a lovely day. Beautiful blue skies, clear seas. I'm sure the white cliffs of Dover would have been standing out looking beautiful. He could almost smell the brand new 4-star hotel room. But today, it wasn't going to happen. Undeterred, he is still just outside Calais somewhere, live streaming last night, showing the camp, getting ready to come. A little bit windy for the next couple of days, but there's going to be a big opening coming on Friday, Saturday and Sunday of this week with very, very calm weather. And finally, here's a clip of him with a mate. That's right, a gun. Not just a gun tattooed onto his face, but an actual gun. Madapasa will, without doubt, be in our country by the weekend. He won't leave. He'll be able to stay here for the rest of his life. That is almost 99% certain. I know that I get condemned. I'll be told that I'm being beastly, I'm being mean, because he's a poor refugee in need. You can see he's none of those things. Actually, he's here for a life to make money. He's here to lord it over us. Folks, these are the sort of people that are crossing the English Channel. This has been allowed by a Conservative government. The Labour Party will do nothing about it. Only Reform is determined to stop this. And we only stop this if we deport those that come here illegally, just like we used to 20 years ago. If you want to stop the boats, stop this rot, then please, you need to put your faith in me and Reform. It's a funny old thing, the media. Here's one of today's headlines. Keir Starmer, now as unpopular as Nigel Farage. Goodness gracious me, how low can you sink? This must be absolutely awful. Big headlines from a YouGov poll published yesterday. But there's another way of looking at it. Who is the most favourable of the party leaders? And, oh, how very, very strange. We find that Nigel Farage is now more popular with the British public than Keir Starmer, Ed Davey, Rishi Sunak, and certainly more popular than any of the current Conservative leadership candidates who most of the country have never, ever even heard of. Now, of course, I'm delighted to be the most favoured, the most popular party leader in the country, but believe me, this is certainly not just about me. It's about our 5 MPs, the work they're doing. It's about our growing membership. 90,000. You know, we're up over 80,000 from this time last year, and it's growing quickly. People paying their 25 quids, getting on board, organising themselves in branches, getting ready to fight English County Council elections, Welsh Parliament, Scottish Parliament. We're gearing up, we're doing well. And of course, we stand for the right things. We can't have Albanians that have been deported twice from Britain, driving around London in 300 grand Ferraris, sticking 2 fingers up to the country. And we'll never deal with any of this stuff unless we leave the ECHR. And we're the only party committed to that and actually believes in that. And we want to make the country richer. It would seem that Rachel Reeves, or Robbing Rachel, as we called her in our recent political broadcast, is going to make us poorer, because if all the rich people leave, it means the poorer people have to pay more in tax. We want to bring back a culture that hard work is a good thing, that we all need to make money, individually, commercially, and nationally. There are so many things that we stand for, good, common, British, patriotic sense. That's why I'm leading this list of other party leaders. So if you agree with what we're trying to do, if you think, as I do, we need a revolution in British politics to try and turn things around, then please get on board, join us, and help us.
Nigel Farage's speech was centred around a forceful critique of Prime Minister Keir Starmer's leadership. Farage voiced concerns that the Labour government is failing to address crucial national issues, which he claims could jeopardise the country's prosperity and sovereignty. While Farage did not shy away from using sharp language, his criticisms were framed as warnings about what he sees as looming dangers. One of Farage's primary concerns is the current state of the UK's political landscape. He argued that Starmer's policies, especially those related to immigration, economic management, and the European Union, could undermine the will of the people and reverse many of the hard-won gains from Brexit. He also suggested that Starmer's approach to foreign policy may weaken the UK's position on the global stage, particularly in its relations with the European Union and other major powers. Farage warned that if these issues are not confronted swiftly and decisively, the UK could face severe consequences, both economically and socially. His rhetoric suggested that the future of the nation was at stake, sparking widespread debate about whether the country is heading in the right direction. What do you think of this situation? Do you think Keir Starmer should step down? Comment down below.